everyone. So today we're going to be solving equations with fractions, and we're going to take a look at ones that are a little more complicated. So we're going to call these level 2. Okay, so solving equations with fractions. So here's the equation that we're going to be solving today. And if you remember from before, the first goal when solving equations with fractions is to get rid of the fraction by multiplying each term by the fraction's denominator. So in this case, the fraction's denominator is 2. But there's one important part that I want you to remember is we're going to treat this like one big term because they're connected by multiplication, this 1/2 and this set of parentheses. So we're not going to be taking that denominator and multiplying inside the parentheses until later on, until we distribute. But this 2, when we multiply it, we're not going to be multiplying it to this 5x or this 10. It's just going to be to this fraction and then to this constant on the other side of the equal sign. Okay, once we do that, then we're going to just apply the necessary steps to solve the rest of the equation as we normally would. So let's get started. As we know, the first step is to create those train tracks. Stay organized, especially now that we have these fractions involved. And like we said, we're going to multiply each term, not including what's inside the parentheses, because this is one big term. By that denominator. So I'm going to multiply this side by 2, and I'm going to multiply this 5 by 2. Just make sure, close that. And I'm going to multiply this side by 2 also. Okay, so here these 2's are going to cancel out. So all we're left with is 1. Then we bring down that 5x minus 10. Notice we did not multiply inside the parentheses yet. And then 5 times 2 is 10. Now we have a number outside parentheses. So hopefully, a bell goes off in your head and you say, okay, I need to distribute. So that's what we're going to do first. Now notice this is a 1. So 1 times anything is just going to be itself. And we'll demonstrate that real quick. 1 times 5x is 5x. 1 times negative 10 is negative 10. So you don't really need to distribute a positive 1 if it's on the outside, but I just wanted to show you that we're still going to get whatever we had in the first place. Anything times 1 is itself. Now we're going to bring down that 10. And now we're going to just solve from there. The next step would be to move the constant. Now we have a 2-step equation. We're going to add 10 to both sides. This cancels. So I'm left with 5x equals 10 plus 10 is 20. And then the last step is let's just divide by 5 on both sides. And we get x equals 4. And that is our answer here. Okay, so we multiplied by the denominator to cancel out this fraction. We didn't multiply into the parentheses yet. Then once we had our constant, we distributed and then solved as we normally would. Let's take a look at another example. Okay, here we have 12 equals 2 over 5 times 9x minus 25. First step, let's draw those train tracks. Now, our denominator that we're going to multiply by is 5. We can see the 5 right here. So we're going to multiply this by 5 and this by 5. Now, these 5's cancel out. 5 times 12 is 60. So we're going to get 60 equals 2 times 9x plus 25. Remember, we did not multiply that 5 into the parentheses. Now we have something outside the parentheses. We have this 2 outside, so we're going to take that number and we're going to distribute it. 2 times 9x is 18x. 2 times 25 is 50. Okay, I'm going to bring down anything I didn't use, which is this 60 over here. And we're going to solve as we normally would. The next step would be to move the constant, which is this 50. So we're going to subtract it on both sides. That cancels. 60 minus 50 gives us 10. So we get 10 equals 18x. Last step, get that variable isolated. So we're going to divide by the number in front of it. Those 18's canceled. Now we have 10 over 18, which is not a simplified fraction. So we're going to simplify it over here. 10 over 18. Think of the largest number that can go into both of these. And the largest number that can go into both of these is 2. So we're going to divide both of them by 2. And we're going to get 5 over 9. So that is our answer. So 5 over 9 equals x. Please do not forget to simplify your fraction. You must simplify or else it will not be marked as correct. Okay, so let's just summarize real quick. We multiplied by the denominator. We did not go into the parentheses yet to cancel out that fraction. 5 times 12 gave us 60, and then we were left with that 2 outside the parentheses because that denominator canceled out. Then we distributed, so we get 18x minus 50. We subtracted, we used our inverse operations and subtracted 50 on both sides to get 10 equals 18x. Let's isolate that variable, so we divided by 18, and then we noticed that we had to simplify that fraction, which we did over here, and we got 5 over 9.